table and we taking our portions. Of course, the discourse is a sativa show where the content and the guest is unbelievable, but we speak in codes. It's the podcast of the culture, so you already know. We from that big West Coast, boy, where it never snows, where the topics get hot, but the rosin is cold. Here's the next episode, yeah.
Welcome to the Season 2 premiere of the Joint Forces podcast. And since it was the season opener, I had to come with a truly special guest. Joining me today, I have the heiress of the Humboldt Seed Company, one of the most recognized and respected seed banks in Northern America. She's the product executive, elite pheno hunter, influencer, the princess of the triangle, a second-generation legacy farmer, unicorn breeder, globe-trotting geneticist, flower designer, activist. I like that one. And my friend, the brilliant and beautiful Halle Pennington. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Wow, that was quite the intro. Very well-rounded, I have to say.
Thank you. I mean, you're a very well-rounded woman.
I do my best, you know? It's in the nature a little bit, but when you put it like that, though, it sounded quite impressive to me, at least. So
it was.
Thank you.
Listen, when I was doing my research, it was very impressive. I was like, I was talking to you a little bit before the show, but like just a lot of interesting things that like came up. And I was like, wow, like there's a lot more depth to you and the company and everything that like your family has done than what a lot of people see on the surface, which is a reason that I wanted to have you on the show today.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the industry has been evolving at such a fast pace that, a lot of history has been forgotten, to be honest. And, I can't say I necessarily like partook in that pioneer era of really like fighting for cannabis.
I might argue with you on that.
Risking my life. I was never facing a jail sentence. My dad was, maybe.
Which would have affected you though.
It would have, absolutely. Right. But he was always really, really mindful of that. And, that was something we talked about from a young age. Like,
and your dad, Nat, a legend in this thing. Started like your dad's really a visionary, I want to say, because he started Humboldt Seed in 2001, right? He did. Business, incorporated it and everything back then.
Well, he started breeding his own genetics in 1998.
Right. And
found out that he started breeding alongside his mentor who passed away, Petey, who started Salmon River Restoration Council. And so he was working for his nonprofit and also growing with him on his grow. And he showed him how to breed. He had also been doing a significant amount of salmon genomics research. And so he kind of learned how to apply the salmon genomics towards, genomics in general and cannabis and how to stabilize things. And so once he found out my mom was pregnant and, he's 20 years old, we have a very great relationship with my grandparents now from Philadelphia. But at the time, they were like, what the heck are you doing with your life? And so he had no financial support from like any other source but himself. Right. And he had a family of 3 to feed. And he was like, all right, I can't do another year of growing mystery seeds at my Gorilla Grow was the reality of it. I can't have another year of being like,
half of this shit
take
was
this
okay.
And it's going to be, because the thing is he's hiking like 5-6 miles to go harvest, and you think about it. And it's like, if half your crop isn't finishing on the same day, then that's just really screwing you there. It's
right. No, another hike and another
extra
everything.
Hike, a whole other layer to it.
Man.
So that's what really like got him going in the first place, was needing his own stable, reliable genetics.
Right.
And, I think that's why, honestly, at the end of the day, like I have so much pride in how far his vision has come, because it was such an organic process and it was like such a natural calling for him of just like needing to be resourceful and using his own intelligence. Mm-hmm. And, that's something that I've always really admired, because I've been fortunate to watch the whole thing unfold.
Right.
It took a lot of patience from his behalf. I have to say, there was so many years where people were like, why are you dedicating your Gorilla Grows to, because when we were doing only regular breeding and he wasn't doing feminized breeding, it was like we would have to have very, very isolated guerrilla locations for each breeding project.
Right.
Like, especially because at the end of the day, you also don't want to piss off one of your neighbors.
Right.
So.
And not many people were doing breeding projects back then. So speaking of like family history, you're born in Humboldt.
Yeah.
Actually on an old mining claim. Is where you were conceived on a mining claim. Sorry, yeah, you weren't born in a mining claim.
Well,
you were conceived in a mining claim.
I was actually born in a cabin with no running water or electricity, so
Is that right?
you're not that far off.
Right. Close. It was right by the mining claim.
Yeah, it was nearby. But yeah, it was Blackberry Ranch, which was like a very common kind of a hippie commune.
Right.
Is what it was referred to, but it called in a lot of people initially from like the Earth First movement, and so that's kind of what brought my parents together. Is they were both out here doing like Save the Redwoods protests.
Nice.
And by the time my mom realized she was pregnant with me, she actually was in Alaska doing protests over there, and she was locked down to a bridge.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where your activist roots come from, huh?
Yeah.
Your mama.
Both of them, but
Both
I would say my mom, at the end of the day, she is a little bit more of a fighter.
Ready to go. She's TTG.
My dad's more of the like patient negotiator type, calculated. Yes. Right. And my mom is one that would lock herself to a bridge while potentially pregnant.
That's actually that's dope. That's dope. You're as legacy as Humboldt legacy as it can get, girl.
I mean, born
like literally.
Yeah, I think it was a positive accident at the end of the day for the both of them, and I think for us, like as a family, we've all kind of grown into each other so much, and it really was like one of those amazing parts of Humboldt too, to just watch how like the community absorbed like my family, and the fact that both my parents really didn't have very much support from either of their backgrounds at the time. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, my dad was adopted by his mentor who taught him how to grow. My mom was apprenticing with like multiple different women in multiple different realms. She did midwifery, she did nursing. So it established that like foundation for me of what community meant in Humboldt. And at the end of the day, that community revolved like significantly around cannabis.
For sure. I would say it would be like the prime commodity coming out of the area for like the last 40 or 50 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, up until like the last.
Right. We'll stop. We'll stop the time clock like a few years ago.
2018.
Right?
Yeah. Fuck. But yeah, absolutely. And I think it got honestly like, there was a lot of people that wouldn't admit how much benefit it brought into the overall Humboldt economy, and like the industry as a whole. It got a lot of, negative feedback. There's, everyone's heard of the whole like Murder Mountain series, which for me is kind of just silly to watch.
It's like the negative like publicity, and not the positive publicity of like all the good work that like all the big growers did back in the day and all that stuff. Well,
it just shows that it's all about like who you know and who you associate with, because like I never once had an interaction with a grower like that throughout my entire childhood in Humboldt County. Right. And, I trust me, I did a lot of shopping in my teenage days, let's say. So like I've made my way around that fucking county. Mm-hmm. And not once did I like have an experience where I was concerned for my safety.
Did you ever get down to Willits at all?
I've made it down to Willits. Yep. Absolutely. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Only in desperate times. Usually I can meet my needs in Humboldt, but Willits is a great area too. I mean, honestly, that like the triangle in general, like that whole realm, I think they deserve a lot more credit than they're getting these days, because most of the people there, like, they were fighting that serious fight, and these days it's like, oh no, am I going to fucking have to go tell my investor I lost his $2 million versus back then you're going to bed at night and you're staying awake being like,
I got to figure this out.
Was that a Fed I just heard on my roof, or was it a squirrel? Right. So it's a difference. There's definitely a significant difference on like the stress that you have to take on.
Some people would say that you're like the face of the triangle now. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I would never like to like claim to be the face of the triangle. I do take a lot of pride in like representing my Triangle community and trying to keep that relevant. And, you know, as like a younger person, I have to say I am in a unique position because I think that there's like very few people my age that actually got to carry out a career in cannabis.
Right.
So like,
that's true.
For me to be 26 years old and be like, okay, I'm like still super highly involved. Most of my peers that had parents that were very much like involved in the industry, it wasn't an option for them.
Right.
So I had the opportunity that necessarily wasn't given to everybody else. But that being said, no, I don't necessarily consider myself a face. I consider myself more of like an advocate, I guess.
Okay.
An advocate and like somebody that can showcase the history of Humboldt County to a different demographic.
I mean, you are a really good representative of like what it's about, right? I mean, your parents came over, you know, from Philly. Eagles fans, I won't fault you for that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Giants, even though we suck right now. Anyway, but no, for real. Then they came in, embraced by the community because they were the right type of people, right? Because the community up in the Triangle, like if you really do love the plant and if you really are there to like support the community and be a part of the community, like everybody will embrace you. If you're there, if you think you're gonna go do like a quick like, you know, 50 hoop house grow and like make $1 trillion, like that's a whole different story, you know?
Well, yeah, and that's what I saw a lot of, you know, and I think that that's like what a lot of the negative feedback focuses on. And there's so many people who saw it as like, we referred to it as there was the gold rush, right? And then there was like the green rush.
Right.
And so there was a significant amount of people who were buying up as much rural land anywhere in the Emerald Triangle. I mean, Humboldt, Trinity, Siskiyou, wherever they could get it. And you know, they were doing as much as they possibly could there. They were cutting numbers as much as they possibly could just to reap as much profit every year as they could manage. And then you had people like, you know, my dad, you had people like Johnny Casale, you had people who were highly involved in their local communities and had like history in their local communities. And, you know, were also simultaneously funding multiple local nonprofits. You know, we were very much NorCal, but, you know, like that's why I had to give some of the like SoCal crew some props because I know like Johnny and Jason definitely did their work, I'm sure, back in the day. But my stepmom, she used to work for, actually, no, she still does work for Environmental Protection Information Center, aka EPIC.
Okay. Yeah.
But back in the day when everyone was growing a ton of weed and not having to pay a ton of taxes on it,
hold on, say that one more time. Growing a ton of weed and not having to pay taxes on it.
Without a ton of taxes, right? You know, a magical thing. But the thing is what you saw with that was, granted, there was a lot of people who did take advantage of it.
Right. And
then you saw this like unique community of people who had banded together and, you know, they knew that they necessarily weren't like contributing directly tax-wise. Right. So she would get $10,000 handed to her on a day-to-day basis in cash at her nonprofit in a
duffel
bag.
And here you go.
No name, nothing.
Right.
I want nothing to do with this. This is an anonymous donation.
Right. I just want to do good.
At my school fundraisers, we would auction off pies and like whatever grower dad did the best that year was buying a $2,000 pie.
$2,000 pie?
That was like the highest that, you know, it would fluctuate. Some years $1,600 for a pie. That's so cool. But it would be like the, you know, two big grow dads. Right. You'd see them going toe to toe and we need to bring back
the $2,000 pie.
But at the end of the day, it was like, that's what paid for like our school field trips. Right. That's what was like funding our local economy.
Books and book fairs and libraries and all that shit. Yeah.
And there were a lot of aspects of our economy that like had a lot of shit to say about the cannabis industry. And now you can really see like the direct impact in Humboldt, particularly. Right. I mean, Garberville, like for example, it's a community that very, very much was reliant on that.
Right.
And I think I could probably say like easily half of their businesses have shut down.
That's
which
sad.
It's like,
yeah, that's sad.
It's, you know, it's painful to see that difference in the county, but it's also part of me is like, okay, now people are finally able to maybe like recognize
Paying
and
attention.
acknowledge
Right.
how much work the grow community actually did to like preserve our county culture for years and years.
I mean, it was like there was a time when you could get $2,000-$3,000 for sun grow. And there was there was a window of that for like a long time. And then it bottoms out, right? And then we get a situation where now it's like you got the firest depths coming down from the hill that are like $300. You know what I'm saying?
There's,
It's like,
I mean, I get offers nowadays where I'm like, I'm sorry, but I will not
ever.
even-
I will ever.
well, I'm just like, I can't
Straight
give
up.
that to my farmer because that's disrespectful.
Straight up.
like to be honest,
the people
I
put in the work
respect
for this.
them too much to even quote them that offer because that is like horrific
Right.
at the end of the day. And so, yeah, I mean, seeing that transition is, it's something else. But the thing is it's like what made Humboldt was the fact that we don't have ag land. It's
That's
the
right.
middle of fucking nowhere. We have mountains and back roads and like
Some
it's
really rough back roads too.
a lot of back roads and a lot of alibis
Right.
out there,
Straight up.
But at the end of the day, it was that ability to have a sense of like seclusion and secrecy that
Mhm.
drew the people there in the first place.
Yep.
And nowadays it's like,
It's
when
like
they
the opposite
first
of that now,
when they
right?
first rolled out legalization and they kind of teased everyone with the acreage cap, it was like, okay, maybe Humboldt has a fighting chance.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when like as soon as they ixnayed that, it's like, where do you think you're going to get 5 flat acres in Humboldt County?
Right. You're not.
Do you want to
So,
grade?
like, at
do you want to get the county to permit you grading an entire mountain? No, that's not going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it would cost probably like about a few $1 million.
Well, yeah.
Where do you think the future of sun grown is going? Do you think it's going to extract? Do you think do you think the extract like primary, or do you think like there is a
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, personally, like, and I have to say, I've experienced I've had amazing experiences with all kinds of flower. I
Right.
love indoor and I love depth, but like there is some sun grown where I have to say, like, the terpene presentation, I don't think I've ever experienced that with anything else.
Right. You can't mimic the sun like that.
Yeah, well, as much as you can, maybe compromise some negative factors of an outdoor environment going inside.
Like, what would you say? Like in like pesticides, like elements, wind, rain, that type of stuff?
That kind of thing. Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, that mostly plays into like bag appeal.
Right. Straight up.
But
Which is important.
Unfortunately,
right?
no, not really.
No.
Though
You're saying no.
nowadays,
You're
it's
saying
very
F bag
important.
appeal.
Fuck bag appeal.
Straight up.
I'm sorry, but like I'm ready to educate the consumers, and it sucks because like you're not allowed to walk into a dispensary and be like, open that jar and let me smell it.
Like we used to.
People are picking what they're smoking off of numbers and off of what they're looking at.
Right.
And like you and I, who have both smoked for how long now,
Right.
would you ever, presented with a table full of weed, choose what you're going to smoke based off of a photo
Right.
and a fucking THC number
An Instagram post?
versus what it smells like the flavor of the bud? You know what I mean?
I mean, it hasn't changed even from like back in your dad's day of how we judge like good flower is still by like how it like the present, like the nose on it, like, how the structure is, what the resin gland, there's ways to really look at flower when you really look at it. And then of course the end, like the end test is like the smoke. Like, how does this make me feel? Like, does this really taste good? Is the experience like top 10? If the experience is top 10, like, who cares what it looks like?
See, that's a final
right?
factor. And like for a minute there, because, we're like coined for doing the I will say the world's largest pheno hunts. And
For sure.
I can say that with confidence because I took the fucking cuts and it was exhausting.
10,000 plants, right?
Yeah, but I take 2 of each plant. So
That's 20,000 cuts. Woo, that's a lot of work, girl.
I mean,
Man, cheers to that.
shit, we kill off
Wow.
the first 10,000 as quick as we can. I will say that. But yeah,
Just
it's a
total
lot of work.
non-keepers right off the rip.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's just that when we're potting them up out of the trays and we have 2 to choose from,
Okay, just one wins and one doesn't.
whatever rooted
right.
and is
Whatever
alive
looks better, right.
is going to stay.
Right.
So,
Okay, I
we
got you.
eliminate it down to 10.
10.
And then
what off
obviously we have to wait for them to flower out. So.
What do you pull off of the say 10,000 cuts that you get?
I mean, it's crazy because, we'll narrow it down to maybe like 20 things.
Are you serious?
And then from there,
less than 1%.
Well, then from there, what we end up actually producing will maybe be like, 2 to 3 strains a year off of a pheno hunt.
Wow. That's impressive.
Because the thing is like and there is so much documentation done of our actual like outdoor pheno hunt process.
I need to come to the next
because
one.
we have made that, somewhat of like a public journey. We want to share what we do. We want to like teach people how to almost just like appreciate the different representations that cannabis can have. Right. I think is a big part of it for us. But
in what way? What do you mean by that?
I think just showing people, I hate to say it, but for a while I started seeing a lot of strains going in like a monopolized direction as far as flavor.
Right.
And so like teaching people just how to interact with and, appreciate and enjoy different terpene profiles. Mm-hmm. Every one of us has a unique endocannabinoid system. Like Very true. Never know what is going to just fucking hit right for you.
Right. That's true. That's so true.
And I think a lot of us commonly, yes, we can all agree that we enjoy certain things. Mm-hmm. Unanimously. There's certain things that became very popular for reasons, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, do we all want to eat the same fucking cereal for breakfast? No. Do we all want to smoke gelato all day, every day? No.
Listen, I'm the biggest like pizza like fan ever, but I don't want to eat it every day, and it's the same thing with any connoisseur that really smokes, like as a real smoker, like you're never gonna want the same strain, even for like multiple days on end. It's like even sometimes in a day, like I like something in the morning or something in the like night is better.
That's me 110% because I'm like I can smoke 3 different strains throughout the day happily. Like I'm like breakfast, lunch, and dinner girl when it comes to my strains. So like give me the more the merrier. But people got really caught up, I guess, on the like media frenzy around the actual pheno hunting process. Right. And
it is exciting, though. It's exciting.
Yeah, but what we do in between the like
is the hard work.
Finding a cut in the field. Because the thing is like, and a lot of people are like, why don't you do this all indoor? Because we couldn't look at 10,000 plants in an indoor.
Come on.
And like, it wouldn't be sustainable, wouldn't be reasonable.
You really wouldn't want to, though. You want the true expression of the plant, which is outside.
Yeah. And we also like, at our own farm, like particularly, I can't speak for every other farm we pheno hunt with, but we feed like the bare minimum. We are giving the plants just the basics of what they need. And
we want to
see
them or
not to stress them. No, just to see that they are going to be
straight, like just a baseline.
If you grew that as a tomato in your garden,
right. Just with the garden hose,
that it would make some decent smokable bud.
Okay, I got you.
Because I've had to make that pitch to so many 50-year-old ladies so many times.
Right, why do I buy your seeds when I can just go to like Lowe's and buy tomato seeds and just water them?
They come up and they're curious and they're like, I've always wanted to try growing it myself. Like I've just, I'm scared. And I'm like, well, have you ever gardened? And they're normally like, oh, well, I've strawberries, tomatoes. I got my flowers. And I'm like,
you're good.
Well, realistically, like with our seeds, at least, I feel confident in being like, yeah, you should be able to throw a blueberry muffin seed in with your tomato and it'll smell like blueberry muffin and it'll probably be fucking fire.
Hell yeah. Speaking of strain, like I'm not going to go into like a common question, like what your favorite strain is, right? But what is your favorite strain from back in the day when you were young that's just not around anymore?
Honestly, I think like one of the first things that I remember being like a serious strain and actually like identifying, because from what I like, when I look back, honestly, and there were times where my dad might kill me for saying this, but we would run out of drying space.
Right.
So our bedrooms would end up with dry lines.
There's nothing wrong with that,
above
girl.
all of our beds.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. My daughter would appreciate that. Jasmine would love that.
And I remember one year, one of them snapped and it wasn't like right over my face or anything, but I woke up covered in like a pile of colas.
Right.
And it was just like it was terpinolene all day, you know? And then a couple years went by and we switched in. He started growing what was it called? It was Salmon Creek Big Bud.
Okay.
And
I actually remember
there was a big differentiation. And that was like one of the first times that I actually could identify like differentiation in the smell of cannabis. Keep in mind, this is also, I was just catching on to the fact that like this wasn't a normal vegetable. You know, for a very, very long time, he just told me that it was basil.
Pops did?
Yeah.
Basil. Hell yeah.
Because we would do like our tomatoes, our corn, or et cetera, et cetera. But I knew, because for a while we were renting before he bought his own property. And so until I was like 5 years old, we were renting and we would have our nursery at the rental spot. And I knew that the landlord was not allowed to see the basil. Like,
the basil was off limits.
Yeah, you know, and so it was like
code word basil.
I didn't think about it that much. Right. I was just little. I was like, whatever, okay. Like, but I do know one day I was hanging out at the main house. Like, and I had my little dog that would chill with me everywhere. And I was kind of just like, I loved it. I was like a free range kid. My dad built me a zip line and an obstacle course.
Oh, you had fun.
I would keep myself entertained, you know? Fun. And so him and my mom were over fucking around in the nursery. And I'm like closer to the house and I see the landlord's car coming in. I sprint down. I'm like, hey,
landlord.
Next thing you know, we're all running trays of shit into the bushes. I don't know why.
Right,
I don't know what's going on. I'm like, okay, you know.
I love that.
Like that's looking back, it was like, took me years to look back on that and be like, oh shit.
Right. That's awesome. My dad had a little shed. I lived in Modesto, which is super city, but like my dad had a shed in the backyard and he was always growing back there. And some of my earliest memories of him having like plants in the shed back there. It was awesome, man. It was really cool.
I mean, you got to put some respect on that too, because doing something like that in a city area is like honestly a little scarier.
And like a bunch of times, like people would hop the fence, steal the plants, like, you know, I mean, which happened everywhere.
That happened to my mom's indoor like twice. And both times that it happened, the plants were like, I think like 2 to 3 weeks from finishing. And she was just like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not even mature.
Right. You guys are literally you just ruined the grow. You didn't do anything.
You're like, frick.
That happened to me. Actually, I was growing in an apartment and they did that. And it was even worse than that. I think it was like even like week 3 or 4 on flower. And they like just took down all the plants. And I'm like, you idiots. Like you just ruined it.
We had someone try to do that to our seed crop like way back in the day, actually. It was like one of our first seeds. It was one of our first years after permitting. And we had some kids roll up in the middle of the night and they cut down a bunch of seeded plants out of one of our seed chambers. And the bud wasn't mature. The seeds were 110% green. Like,
I hope they smoked
we were almost just like chuckling when we were looking the next day. We were like, because we couldn't even tell what had happened at first. We were like, we had to ask everyone. We were like, was there like herms here or something? Like, did somebody cut these for a reason? And then we were like, oh.
That's funny. That is hilarious, man.
You know, yeah. Hey, you gotta cut your losses and laugh when you can take it. Right.
You have to. I mean, in this game, especially in this
shit that happens these days.
Especially in this game, man. You're not lying. So you're running trays and stuff when the landlord comes. You also do some early activism, right? Like going to protests and stuff as a young kid.
I did, yeah. I mean, my dad had me like he was very, very highly involved in the Undam the Klamath removal project.
Is that like up by Oregon?
Klamath starts in Oregon, but it runs through Humboldt.
Right.
And so he was involved with the program there. His mentor, actually, Petey, who I mentioned, he had started Salmon River Restoration Council. It took me a second.
Bam, girl, you got it. Don't even trip.
He started Salmon River Restoration Council. And
that's a hard one to say. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to try to say it. Salmon.
Say it 10 times fast.
River Restoration Council.
Yeah.
Got it.
Nailed it.
I had to say it really slow.
But they basically, it was like them and Fisheries and Wildlife Department and the local tribes that were along the Klamath, and they all kind of were able to join forces like in this agreement that basically like the damage that was being received from these dams was not worth it at all. Right. And I mean, for me, just even witnessing like the difference in the river in the last few years since they came out, it's like it's been mind-blowing.
So you got to actually see what you protested against as a kid come to fruition later on as a young adult.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I honestly got to be
see
like
some shit like that.
I got to be a part of the most like satisfactory part of all of it, to be honest, because there was a lot of people fighting for this like long before my dad and I even joined forces in it. I have to give a lot of respect to the tribal members.
Right.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, like they were fighting to really just preserve the salmon. And there were so many runarounds on like how, you know, they're going to make it work with the dams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What it came down to, honestly, and, you know, a big portion of why Pacific Corp finally agreed to get rid of the dams was it was costing them almost as much money, I think, every year to maintain them as they were making off of them.
It was a net zero.
And that's when they were finally like, all right, like, you know, we can't keep like denying this clear data too, where we're causing like detrimental environmental damage.
Right.
And, you know, on top of that, we're not even profiting off of it.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations on the win. You and Pops.
I mean, I would give the congratulations a lot more to him and his peers because they did mince work for years on that project. You know, it was an ongoing fight. I have like vague memories of being a kid, and for me, it was all like fun times. But we would go. Well, we would go out to Pacific Corp, and you know, there were like designated aunties that would be like, "So if your parents start getting arrested, all you kids come with me."
Oh, they weren't like, if your parents start getting arrested, throw these Molotov cocktail bombs at the.
We weren't quite that gnarly about it, but you know, what we would do is we would go and we would collect buckets of algae, from the Klamath River,
and show it to them.
And no, we'd throw it on the windows of the Pacific Corp building.
That's classic.
And I think that was probably like the gnarliest thing that we did. And my dad and I wrote a rap when I was really young.
Hell yeah. Can I get a line? Come on. I know you can remember one line off of it.
It's time to go down to the river and face it. Another couple of years of fish runs will be wasted. Our children grow up with no chance to taste it. Give them subsidies and try to frick them in places. Said 1 million salmon start to swim upstream. Doesn't have to be the stuff that only happens in a dream. But sometimes that's just how it seems because fish need water and they need it clean.
Hell yeah.
That's why we saying that this shit's a scam because a couple megawatts ain't worth the damn.
Hell yeah. Damn, that was hard. Man, that was
we
real.
We performed that at the protest when I was little.
Dude, oh my God, new respect. You just leveled up for me right now. That was dope, man. That was hard. Woo.
That was like me and my dad's method of bonding back in the day, to be honest. We would like rap battle each other in the car. Honestly.
You're like Eminem.
Honestly, I'm going to call him up right now because we wrote another one. I didn't partake as much in this one, but we had a 215 rap.
Oh, that's hard. We got to hear this. Hold on. We're getting an exclusive right here. This is Nat Pennington, 215 rap, dropping right here. Here we go. Oh, I love this.
Hello?
Hi. So I'm over here on the pod, and I just...
Wait, you're on the pot?
I mean, always.
Both. Pod and the pot.
But I just fessed up the Undam the Klamath rap, and so I promised these guys that you would do the 215 one.
So now we're going to need you to hit the 215 one right now.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1, drop it.
I got my 215, if you know what I mean. Well, I'm growing more weed than you ever seen. These cops can't say shit because my script's legit. So I light up my pipe, then I'll take a big hit. Light up my joint, take a big hit. I light up a bong and take a big hit. The cops can't say shit because my script's legit. So I light up my pipe and I take a big hit. Well, I got my script from the doctor to keep coppers away.
Them
The
rolling helicopters,
no, they can't play.
But if they show up,
no, they can't say. I got my 215 and this is North Cali.
Yeah.
So when we're rolling out, I can hear one say, man, he must be smoking like 2 pounds a day. You know, the more I smoke, the healthier I stay. So get in your helicopter and be on your way. Get in your helicopter and be on your way. Get in your helicopter and just fly away. You know, the 215 is here to stay. I wish, but get in your helicopter and be on your way.
Bars.
Yeah. Bars. More bars than a prison cell, baby. Fuck yeah, Nat. Thank you, dog.
That was good.
That was great, man.
Thanks.
Oh
I
my
wish the
God.
215 was here to stay, though. To be honest, I didn't vote for this shit, by the way.
Nah, man. Well, so what do you say? Blow up 64?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we needed to get something because it was getting crazy in Humboldt with, you know, just the kind of like free for all. And so that wasn't great either. But they definitely handed it over to sort of like the
Not our folks.
Big ag.
Right.
And it'd be nice to bring it back to some of them.
To the people.
The rootsy people and, you know, organic and stuff. I don't know what happened to the organic. It seems like it only matters with like Whole Foods and food. And people don't mind if their weed is all chemmy, but
Organic's only cool if you're shopping at Air One these days.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't get that. What's going on?
Yeah, we need to start.
Like
We need to start smoke shaming these people. Honestly,
you know,
You're buying crap. You're buying crap.
you don't buy farmers market weed. Gross.
Right. Nat, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, bro. We're dropping that verse, just so you know. Hell yeah.
Next time I'll be in the studio, maybe.
Thank you, bro. Hell yeah. Anytime, man. Anytime. Respect, brother.
Right.
Respect.
Bye-bye.
Yep. That's dope, man. Pop spit the verse though on him. What? Oh
He's
man,
actually.
that was
I
hard.
don't think he's actually ever done that in an interview before.
Just on some real like me and you connecting shit is like I appreciate that that rap, that verse more than most people would because of like I went through the era. I know what he was talking about, you know? And like and I do music and I've done music like even before then. So for your pops to spit that, man, and it to be a 215 rap, that was hard, man. For real. Like I don't
I mean, I have to say, my dad's been through a lot of eras, you know.
Right.
People, I think, now see him as like Mr. Humboldt Seed Company business science guy. Right. But, you know, I got to watch him go through like Humboldt Seed Company science rapper phase guy. You know, we had a guy we moved in that my dad kind of adopted, and he unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but he was mixed Native American and, you know, part black.
Right.
And he had basically like really left with no resources. Started working for us on and off. And
Pops looked out.
Well, he went to drop him off one day and realized that he was living in like a house that basically had no roof.
Squalor.
And he was like, go get your shit and you're coming home with us.
Good man.
And so he stayed with our family for like probably like 7 or 8 years. And that's when bro right there. That was he was like my brother. Right. But that was when my dad his name? His slight gangster phase. Well, his name was Jordan Allen, but his rapper name was Blunt Force. Blunt Force.
Like that. Shout out Blunt Force. Look it up.
So, well, when I told my dad the name of this podcast, actually, he was like, that reminds me of Jordan.
Is that Jordan shit? Hell yeah. So, tell him Jordan's here vicariously. He's fucking with us, man. He's here.
He was like, you remember that, right? Blunt Force.
Hell yeah. That's a dope name for a fucking podcast. Maybe you should do that. I'll collab with you. We'll do it. Joint One Forces day. And Blunt Force. Oh, that's dope. Okay, so I'm going to play a little game with you. Small game. I'm going to say a word.
I'm
I'm going
scared.
to say this versus this, and you just pick one. It's super easy. This is not a brain teaser.
I'm an indecisive person. I don't know. Okay, let's go.
No, you're going to win on this one easily.
Wait.
Sun-grown versus Depths.
I don't like this game.
Oh.
Sun-grown.
Okay. Sun-grown versus mixed light. Keep it real, bro. Sun-grown versus indoor.
Still sun-grown.
Sun-grown. You are straight up, right?
I mean, I'm not going to fucking lie. But the thing is I'm looking at this from like numerous different perspectives.
For sure.
Because I'm looking at it as
you're
like
really deep in it.
A consumer, a producer, and a provider of genetics. So for me, like my hesitance on answering that question is, am I answering this as a consumer or am I answering this as a cultivator or am I answering this as somebody that's supplying to said cultivator? And
but can't you
can't you answer it as all? Right. At the end of the day, what I would solidly recommend for any person to start with is fucking sun-grown.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to say this. Like, I primarily grew up like in the city. Like, my dad had his small shed, but primarily on indoor. And like, there's certain cultivars that just crush like out in sun-grown. And if you put them indoors, they just don't do the same thing. Like there's an expression of the plant that says, hey, like this is my natural environment. This is how I'm supposed to grow.
Well, if something's bred and selected indoors, then, you know, generally you're going to have that result versus something bred and selected outdoors, which is like a very difficult part of our breeding program and why we ending up with maybe 5 things out of like our top 20
out of 10,000.
Well, initially 10,000,
right.
But you know, we have our top 20. And the thing is like we take those top 20 and from doing an outdoor test, those have been growing in our, you know, our clone room. And so they're close enough to mom out. As soon as we have our top 20, we're fucking pimping those things out. You know what I mean?
Go to work, girl.
They get new pots.
Go to work, girl.
They get new soil. We're going to make them fucking stoked.
That's right.
And the next thing you know, it's like we're going to give those to a couple of our very trusted mixed light growers and a couple of our very trusted indoor growers. For sure.
And you guys are touching all aspects of the industry.
And the thing is like if something is like not performing at all in a certain category, then we're not really going to fuck with it anymore.
Right.
So it's we want to make sure that it can at least perform to our standards in every category. But then again, if you think about a lot of the ways breeding you can't, I don't want to shit on breeding as a whole in the industry. And I honestly, I love
the pollen chuckers.
I've gotten myself into trouble by saying that term before, but
I said it, not you.
No, the thing is you
get me in trouble.
I respect anybody who wants to delve into the world of pollinating and to, like I said, it's like for us as an individual with our own unique endocannabinoid system, for us to be able to seek out and select a cultivar that is like our dream perfect cultivar is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's like
it's amazing that we're working with a pool of genetics that we can still find an option like that, to be honest.
Right.
This isn't fucking corn from Monsanto. Like we have this incredible realm of genetics we're working with here. And my concern is, watching these trends in genetics continue to go on and you see all these people doing BX1s, for example, or F1s or whatever F1s, the fuck. Yeah. And then they're launching a clone line of that. And then then that clone line takes off.
Not stabilized.
And that takes off though. And then somebody's crossing that clone line that was named.
Right.
I don't even want to say whatever it was fucking named.
Right.
They're taking that and they're crossing it into some other clone line that was named whatever the fuck. And it's like, girls, it's either cookies or gelato.
Right.
And so then it came to this point where it was particularly, I don't want to shit on LA because there's some fire product that comes out of LA. But for a while, I was just like, what is going on with these monopolized ass packs here?
Right. It was like a lack of diversity, right?
Well, exactly.
In the genetics that people one of the actually I'm gonna back up is what like one of the things I really do respect like about your pops and your guys' company is that like if you guys like something, you guys will pick it like straight up. You won't like worry about what the market is gonna think about it. And that really as a tastemaker, it's like tastemaker versus like a market chaser, right? Yeah. And like it's like where do you want to be at that?
Well, that's where I have to give him a lot of fucking credit because he like. You know, I'm still young and like I still get caught up in this shit. And so like I'll come to him and I'll be like, whoa, this is the new cool thing this year, dude. Like, right. And we got
to do this. We have to do this.
He's always on my ass. He's like, you know, the way that like we breed and operate, like if we were constantly chasing the next trend, he's like, it takes me up to 3 years to release a strain. I'm dropping, you know, some fucking fire candy gas. Next thing you know, everyone's like, I want some.
They want hazes now.
I want lime green fucking OG.
Right.
Like, you know, the thing is with him, he didn't mean to start a seed company, to be honest.
No? Why you say that?
Like, he didn't mean to.
He accidentally fell into Humboldt Seeds?
It was an organic process. And that's like very rare for a very large company to be able to say. But I can say that 100% about how this went down. It was he started breeding because he wanted his own stabilized seed stock.
For him and his boys.
Right? For him. And I mean, there was like a group of him and his boys that were sharing multiple grows. And they used his seed stock for the multiple gorillas. Mm-hmm. It was good.
They were like, Nat got the shit. They're like, Nat got the fire.
I was too, you know. All I remember is him telling me that I was really good at ducking branches. When he was like, I never brought you to plant, but I'd bring you to scout them. We'd go camping and you'd come scout the grows with me.
Which is one of your real roles that you take pride in, right? At the company. It's like you actually go out there and you're the one who's scouting like a lot of the next gen stuff, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I think I am in a unique position where I'm one of the few people who my dad trusts enough that I can challenge his perspective a little bit here and there. So I think we work well together in that way, for sure. But I always do think that there's just an infinite amount more for me to learn. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think one of the main things I take from working with my dad is like trusting my intuition and my relationship with a plant first and foremost, because like for him, did he ever think that we were going to have like a extremely highly
international seed company?
You know, like I don't want to toot our own horn, but I fucking looked us up on Chat GTP on somebody else's phone the other day. And I didn't look us up. I looked up what is the largest cannabis seed distributor in the on the globe. Globally. And
it was Humboldt Seed Company. Take that, girl. Own that, girl.
But it wasn't even on my phone.
Hold up. Largest seed company on the globe, Humboldt Seed Company. Straight up. And you should be. No, man, I mean, own that shit.
Then again, man. You know, AI is biased.
Listen, I don't give a fuck.
I don't want to give us too much credit. The point of me saying that is that like the beauty in it.
From the mud though.
The beauty in it is that he never wanted to be that guy. Right. Like it wasn't like he ever set out to be like pioneer monopolizer of cannabis seed industry.
Well, the best leaders never are
big money man, you know.
The best leaders in anything are never want to be the leader of that, you know?
Well, yeah, and that's, you know, I think that's why like for me I have so easily like, you know, fallen into a position where I'm like, you know, I want to tell your fucking story because quite fucking frankly, you're not doing a good enough job.
You're like, Pops, I got you.
Like, hold on a second. This is crazy.
What are the pros and cons of working with your dad? Keep it real with me now, because my daughter works with me too. So I'm gonna call you out if you don't keep it real.
No, I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons.
Are you ever off the clock?
Never. No.
Never off the clock, right?
I think that, you know, for us realistically, like we're both so emotionally entwined in the company that there isn't really like any clocking out ever. You're on it right now. I call it his little monster sometimes. I'm like, hee, like look what you did.
Right.
On accident.
Maybe not all the way on accident.
No, not entirely. But I mean, really though, it did just start. It was like he bred for himself and his.
I mean, it was his
like a
path was,
crew
though.
of Gorilla Grows. It was like 6 of them, and then they fucking all the buyers were buying their shit that year over the other people's shit, and next thing you know, all the neighbors were coming over.
So
and then the neighbors' were coming over.
What would you say Humboldt Seeds started from? Like, if you could say the amount of plants or the single grow that it started from, like, what would you say Humboldt Seeds started from?
I mean, I have to say, like, as much as I don't want to give my ex-stepmom any fucking credit right now, it was like, I think she was probably the one in around 2001 or whenever. And her and my dad had just kind of started dating. And she was like,
this is what we need to do.
She was just like, you have a guy showing up here every fucking day with like a 6-pack of beers. And you're sitting at the table sorting these seeds out for free.
Let's make some money.
And we're poor, you know?
Smart mama. A smart mama.
And so, you know, for him, he was like, okay, fine.
Let's do it.
We'll start charging people. But he was also like, you know, he's always been a geneticist.
He came from a time like when you just gave shit out though. Like, that's my bro. What do you mean? I'm giving it to him.
We still operate that way.
Right.
Like,
I know.
If it's that
is how it is.
If it's a Humboldt farmer.
For
at the
sure.
End of the day.
For sure.
we don't charge locals.
Good. I'm glad. That's dope. That's really cool, actually. Really, that you should highlight that. Actually.
We trade locals. Hey, that's
right.
how I got these fire fucking joints from Tina.
So let's talk about those. Actually, let's talk about those.
This was my bulk trade for the day, and she said she just hand rolled me this one today. But this one, she said she even made me a little label. It's a Hella Jelly times Notorious THC.
Hella Jelly. That's one of your guys's.
So yeah, this is their Hella Jelly. They got the clone from Hendrix, so it wasn't from seed.
That's a nice roll. I like that.
But I really like the Hendrix clone. It's like I don't know if you've smelled much of our Hella Jelly, but it's like a very, very like candy.
So I have a bit of history with your Hella Jelly.
More on the fruit side, I have to say.
We have one of my bros who crossed it. And we use it in one of our pens, the cross. So you know Micah from Leaf? He's a Willits guy.
The name rings a bell, but like no.
They got a big company in Willits that does a lot of extracts, and they ran some of your guys' genetics and a lot of their stuff. And yeah, it's fire, man. Some of the like some strains translate like really, really good into like live resins and rosins, and some don't, right? Like that's just the way it is. Like we just got to live with it. Like
that's what keeps the job fun. I mean, so like I'm like saying over here, I'm the expert on pheno hunting, right? You know, and that's kind of like something I will coin and take some pride on. I've probably taken more pheno hunt cuts than any person alive.
Nice.
Easily, I could say that. But this year, you know, we had to switch it up. We're like, okay, let's do a pheno hunt where we're specifically hunting just for washers.
Nice.
And I'm sitting there looking at like my spreadsheets and all the data I intake at the end of the fucking pheno hunt, and I'm like, well, none of this is gonna make sense anymore.
Why do you say that?
I mean, first of all, like density is like one of the number one factors.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't really matter if you're looking for a washer.
No,
you know what I mean?
Not at all.
So it's like if I'm
you want like
scaling
nice loose trichomes,
if
weak
I'm
heads,
scaling my data based on like good things are
which are usually normally good for
10 on density,
right?
And then I suddenly have to include things down to like 2 on. Right. It needed to be completely segregated.
Yeah, no, it has to be completely separated.
So it ended up in me deciding to make 2 different forms. And I was like, you know, it needs to be like, and then we had to train our crew that was out there hunting, like, hey, you need to decide when you're rating this plant. Are you rating it as a potential for a washer, or are you rating it as a potential for a flower strain?
That's interesting. So somebody really has to be able to be really on point to like.
Yeah, it's training the eye for a different thing for me.
For sure.
I mean, for years it was like,
we looked for something totally different. Let's keep it real.
Well, I got tired of fucking smelling every plant. I'm going to be honest, you know? I did.
You like had like resin like all over your nose.
I'm sticky, you know? It started to burn my arms, like, you know, the little fucking things sticking in your skin.
It starts to give you like red, like rashes. Like No, I feel you. And then
as
who
much
knows?
as
Like,
I love it, I'll tell everybody. They're like, "What?" Someone asked me on a podcast, and they're like, "What's your favorite part of the plant to smell?" And I was like, "I'll smell that bitch top to bottom." What do you mean?
that's right, girl. Top to motherfucking bottom.
I smell the whole plant.
Give a
But
fuck.
at the end of the day, it's also like, with enough years of pheno hunting, I did learn to use my trained eye to be able to be like, process of elimination and walk by certain things and say, oh, you don't have the structure I'm looking for. You don't have the vigor I'm looking for. There are certain things that I could eliminate when I'm pheno hunting exclusively for flower that I no longer can eliminate once we're factoring in washers. So, it adds a whole new realm for me. But that's what keeps my fucking job fun. So
like what like your experience, do you think you can SOP that? Is that possible? Like you literally grew up in the field of cannabis, right? Literally. Do you think like your knowledge when you can go up to a plant and you can make that judgment, right? Do you think you can SOP that? Is that like when Halle's gone in 100 years?
No.
Is that possible? No. So what happens to the company then? If that's not SOP-able, then what happens? If Halle's no longer able to pick the genetics, what happens?
Generational training happens.
Ooh.
I mean, like.
So your daughter or your son or somebody else's daughter or son, you take them under your wing and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for.
The first time I had to grapple with this concept myself, to be honest, was when we were sent privately the Phylos team pitching that they were going to.
You're starting to talk shit now.
The so-and-so team pitching that they were going to take over the world of breeding and genetics.
Cannabis.
They were going to take over all of cannabis, right?
They were pinky in the brain.
They were going to become the Monsanto of cannabis seeds.
They wanted to.
In their minds.
Right.
And they had all of the science and access to all of the genetics to do that.
All of the great things.
Right. And so I go to my dad and I'm like, wait, well, are you not a little bit like intimidated by this? And he's like, wait, what do you mean? They have the genetics that I released last year.
Right. That's so last year.
And it was like his lack of intimidation by that. And he was like, you can't.
You can't do what the fuck I do.
What did he say? He commented this to somebody on Instagram the other day and it had me dying. And he was like, let me know when you have a genetic marker for dank.
Ooh! Drop the mic, Pops.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like valid.
Straight up.
We had somebody,
they
commented on our video and they were like, why are you still like, doing all of this with the naked eye? And at the end of the day, it is like, where are the genetic markers for fucking like the human dankness factor?
Right.
Like what?
You can't.
Where
can't
are we going to be able to qualify something in a lab that says that I'm going to enjoy smoking it like I'm enjoying smoking this fucking fire hella jelly from Tina's farm,
Moon Maid, Tina. Let's talk about her for a second. She's awesome. And a boss grower, by the way.
She is an incredible grower.
Boss.
I have to say, I have never smoked a single thing from her farm that I did not enjoy.
She dropped me a bag like, man, it was a minute ago. I want to say maybe it was like a year ago. And I was like blown away by it. I was like, damn, girl, she was growing fire. And there's like, listen, one of the best
you can
growers.
Taste the love, it's like a home cooked meal.
Right.
It's
Right.
like
No, that's actually
joint.
a good analogy. I never thought about that. That's actually a great analogy.
It's a home cooked joint, bro.
You and I have something in common that I want to bring up, actually. I heard that you don't get high off edibles, really.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
So do you have a weird digestive enzyme as well? Because I've done research and that's my one conclusion.
I can like in my day, back in the day, I could do like hundreds of milligrams.
All right, next pod, edible off. We're doing
I have to get off probation first, but I got you. I got you. No, but it's weird though, right? Like, cause I see people like, they're like, dude, I got rocked off that. And I'm like, dude, I didn't feel it. Like, what the fuck?
I've seen like people like full on like psychoactively trip off of edibles.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, maybe I've always had like a certain tolerance to cannabis where it's not ever going to hit me like that, right?
You're just like
but then there's
you're
like
OG
one
smoker.
of my besties that I was like smoking with all the time. And she was actually a couple years older than me.
Right, you knew her tolerance was high.
And we had equal tolerances
Right.
as far as my understanding, right? And then I had like these gummies and I'd eaten like 4 of them the night before. And she's like, oh, how are the gummies? Was it chill? And I was like, and keep in mind, I took like 5 bong hits that night too. So I just like, in my mind, I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. I was high and I went to bed.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
like, whatever.
Good times. Like,
Right. It was all right.
yeah, it was just like,
Right.
nothing crazy, you know?
Right. It wasn't no Space Jam.
And yeah, exactly.
Shout out, Wendy.
Shout out. But she ate like 1 of them or like maybe 2. I don't even know. And she ends up waking me up in the middle. She's like, I'm having a panic attack.
Full on panic.
I'm having a panic. You bitch. I can't even look at my phone right now. Like,
oh no.
She's like stress breathing.
Oh no.
And I'm like, fuck. Like, okay. Like,
You're like, shit.
I was like, maybe I shouldn't recommend edibles to people anymore. And there's been like a few other testing factors where I'm like, yeah, like there's something wrong. One time I got on an airplane with like a bag of like infused granola. Or
Right.
it was like Chex Mix infused.
So basically, you had some like
It was
Hollywood
like
trail
1,000
mix.
milligrams.
Hollywood trail mix.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
but
I've had a bag of that too
I
on the
ate the
plane.
entire bag and like
Mine had shrooms in it though, shroom chocolates.
see, mine didn't have shrooms in it. That's where I went wrong probably because I didn't feel anything and I was like, dang it.
Right. Do you fuck with shrooms at all? A little bit?
Absolutely. I think that it's like growing up in Humboldt, that was kind of like an integral part of the.
I feel like the shroom game right now is like how the 215 game was back like in the day. It's like super early. People like brands are starting to kind of like try to pop out a little bit. You know, it's like
I feel like it is, but it's like the advancements in online sales and like media have like changed so much that it's so hard to even
100%.
compare that.
right.
Because people are just so balls to the wall with the mushroom stuff these
Give a
days.
fuck.
Like, I mean, they really are.
I mean, don't go to
And
Oakland.
I respect
Yeah,
it.
Oakland's all the way live with it.
I respect it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, shit.
What is your craziest?
I prefer to operate under discretion whenever possible. You know what I mean?
100. I listen. You ain't gonna have anybody concur with you more than me on that. Discretion is key. What is your craziest shroom experience? You up on the hill. I know you gotta have a crazy. You gotta have a crazy one.
I've had some really, really gnarly ones. I mean, like the high.
I'll tell you one of my crazy. I ended up in the emergency room on shrooms one time. My mom had to take me. I won't even get into all that. Yeah, it was bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Me and my
I
homie
was
split
gonna
a
say
quarter. It
mine.
was all bad.
And honestly, if my mom was home, she probably would have taken me to the emergency room because I thought I was dead for like.
I told my mom. I said I
solid
ate poisonous shrooms. I think I'm dying.
20 minutes, and I. I don't even know how we pivoted this story, but it's like, so I grew up in Humboldt and
Right.
we had all access to like, I have to say, like very amazing drugs.
Hell yeah.
And I
For
will
sure.
give my parents props for that shit
Right.
because like
Good,
I
organic,
watched a
real
lot.
shit.
I watched a lot of people who were not educated on like drug culture really fuck themselves up.
Yep. Go
And,
down a
like,
bad path.
I was told like where to start and like what was chill
Right.
and within a certain age range. And, you know, I kind of stuck within that. And it
Good.
was like, okay, if it's not, you know, highly processed, fine. Eat it.
Enjoy. And don't worry, it
Do
won't
what
last
you
that
gotta
long. Just
do.
ride with it.
But yeah, I mean, mushrooms became a pretty common thing for me like after sophomore year in high school. But the craziest time for me, which was like shockingly like probably my like 10th or 15th trip in, it was like I hit up my plug and he was like, oh, I'm almost out. I have the bottom of my pound bag of shrooms left. And it was like just this duffy
Hella.
shroomy shit.
Hella concentrated. The straight keef of
But
the
at
shrooms.
the time I didn't really understand like psilocybin and like the way that it worked. But yeah, that actually literally like was what it was. And so he ends up giving us this like Duffy stuff. He's like, whatever, like, you know, take it. And I was doing the lemon juice tech back in the day. Because it was like,
damn, you were advanced, girl.
Well, it was supposed to help with your, I was a big Paul Stamets fan, you know.
Man, I didn't get on the lemon tech until like super recently.
It was supposed to like, you know, help you digest it and help you hit faster.
No, yeah, for sure.
Supposedly.
Doesn't make your stomach hurt, I think.
Honestly, the only reason I did that is because I listened to a Paul Stamets. He did like a talk at a festival at one point.
So he was giving you the game.
And I was like, okay.
You're like, hold up. Okay,
lemon tech, with me.
Got that.
But no, so long story short, like it's like the littlest bit, you know, like in my mind, I'm like, I hadn't eaten like full stimmers multiple times and was chilling. So I was like, it was like 2 little spoonfuls of this goop.
Right, you know? After the lemon tech.
But the fucked up thing is we put the like lemon in there, got wet, and the shit turns like blue. You know? And I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant at the time.
Yeah.
I swear, I felt myself getting high like 10 minutes later.
You're like, holy shit, I feel this.
I was like, am I like...
Do I feel this?
I was like, am I like, just like, is this placebo or something?
Right.
Or what's going on? And then like 20 minutes goes by and I'm like, oh no, like something's wrong. I like run out to my backyard and I'm like, I'm going to try to make myself throw up because like, I'm fucked, you know?
I got to get this out of me.
And so my mom's gone at the time. She's managing a trim camp. I had her like best friend at the house and my like high school boyfriend.
Gangster.
Her best friend had never done psychedelics before. And I had fed this shit to her. And she did like half what I did, I think, but I
who knows?
I don't even know. And I'm out there and trying to make myself throw up. I like, it doesn't work. I look up and it's just like the stars are fractaling. The trees are just like fractaling backwards.
Everything's starting to swirl together.
And I'm like, fuck, I gotta get inside. Like, I was like, eventually it felt like I was I had regressed into like an infantile state of just like crawling through my house.
Did you have any like epiphany?
Floors were, well, yeah, that I died. that was my epiphany. So yes. That's what I was getting at. It was eventually I make it through the fucking swirly floors and I'm like, get to my room. I lay down on my bed and like decide, I just close my eyes and I'm like, and like somehow I subconsciously maybe didn't register. I'd actually like closed my eyes, but I just like associated that was death.
Mm. And you went through the near-death experience of shrooms.
Well, I was just kind of like down. I was like,
death sucks.
No, like not even like this sucks. Like I was just like, like what's next? What's
What's
kind
next?
Of vibes.
Floating
like,
cave paintings.
Well, and then I was lingering there for so long, and I was like, I remember getting to this point where I was like, well, I wonder if I can open my eyes. Like, and if I'm gonna,
if I can at all,
and if I can, am I gonna be alive?
Or am I gonna be
in another world?
Hell yeah. You probably ate like a quarter ounce, maybe a half ounce. Who knows?
Sure as shit, I'm just like in my bed, like fine. So, I was like all good things at the end of the day.
Beautiful.
But I am a lot more careful about my intake now.
Of all drugs.
Yeah, in general.
Okay, so you brought me something down from the Triangle, right?
Yeah, so my dad wanted to send you some of our new stuff. And I mean, you're welcome to try as many of them as you want to, or just pick a few. I am particularly excited about this one, the Hyperzol.
Let me check that out.
This was like a standout I remember selecting. And the NF15 was the cut that we basically created this off of.
What stood out about this to you?
It was one of those ones where like, it sounds so corny, but we call them unicorns.
You're the unicorn breeder.
We call them unicorn strains because it's like eventually when you're going through so many different genetics and looking at so many different things, like, you're doing little comparisons between plants. You're like, oh, but this one's a little frustier. This one's something.
Right.
Like,
it's like nuances shit.
We do not care about that at the end of the day. We are looking for entire genetic anomalies. And that's why there's even points where people are like asking about like, specific genetic lineage things. And I'm like, as much as that is relevant, this specific cultivar was actually selected because it was, like
not on any of the past,
super off par
right.
from the rest of the sibling crosses, but was such an anomaly standout that we had to keep it around. Sometimes it is the perfect representation of X times X, but here and there's also the ones where we're like, realistically, it doesn't smell like mom or dad. Right. It doesn't look like mom or dad either.
Right. It's like when two ugly people have a supermodel.
Yeah.
For real, though. Like sometimes you put together two things and you don't really realize like maybe 9 of the expressions are like this, but there's this one that's like, whoa, it's really unique.
You wouldn't necessarily look at my dad and think that he would consistently produce beautiful blonde, blue-eyed daughters. But he does.
That's right.
So,
that your mama's genetics
are an interesting thing.
Is your mama got the dominant genetics in the family?
No, honestly, I mean both my sister and I's mothers, although we have different moms, are still
blonde haired, blue eye.
No, they're both brown eye, brown hair.
Okay,
so,
interesting. There you go.
Not sure.
That's a perfect example, actually, of the expression of the phenos, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It sucks for him, but
not really. I would say no. I would say actually this is a big win for Nat. Super win. So tell me what's your next like favorite right now?
Oh, it's like picking.
It's hard to pick,
like
right?
Picking your favorite kid.
Right. But we all have favorite kids.
I would say like my next favorite, and then like the other 3. I think you should choose for yourself.
Like runners right there.
I want to shout out Honey Bear. We named Honey Bear after our farm manager of like 10 years, Dennis. And he was like our neighbor for the longest time. He also grew up like in the same area that I was raised in, or not grew up. Honestly, I don't know when he moved out there, but he was a little bit younger than my dad's mentor.
Right.
And was, one of the like integrative people for us into the community that we were in. And he ended up taking care of our farm for a long time.
Big influence on you.
He didn't want to go anywhere else. Is the thing. And so he was like the one person that we could rely on that he just fucking loved that place.
That's dope.
He would observe every little thing.
How did he pass away?
He passed away peacefully in his sleep.
Good.
So
good. The best way you could go.
I can't say. And he was a stubborn guy. Because, and he was getting a little bit older.
Right.
And we had talked about like what, we were like, we're going to probably pay something for his retirement and what's the plan. And I was like, have you ever asked him what he'd want to do? And like, would he go into a retirement home? And my dad was like, I can't fucking imagine Dennis in a retirement home.
That's my dog. I ain't put him in there.
It was crazy because this was like 5 months before he ended up passing away, actually. I was like, now that you say that, yeah. I'm like, I think if you ever proposed that to him, he'd probably look you in the eyes and be like, shoot me in the head.
What the
bro.
fuck you talking about?
Like, literally shoot me in the head.
So how does the Honey Bear name come from?
Long story short, his daughter and his ex-wife called him Dennis Den Bear. Bear.
Okay, nice.
And a lot of like our local community called him Den Bear. And he was also just like the sweetest, most like nurturing soul. That's and it was cool. Funny because I felt honestly really torn about it. But like a day after he had passed, I had a trip to go visit one of our farms in New York, or in upstate New Jersey, actually. Mm-hmm. And then have a little spot in New York as well. And I had already booked everything. And I was like, I don't know if I should go. Maybe I should cancel. Wow. And I went out there and I passed a street. And it was called Honey Bear Street. You
said that's a sign.
Yeah. And so that's where we got the strain name, long story short. It was like a day after he passed away.
That's dope. How is it on washer? Is it a good washer?
It's an amazing washer.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Honey bear with like dripping over the side of the pot right there. I like that.
We tried to make it a little like implicative.
And then hold on, now, we're not going to let any of these pass
Puff
by.
pastry is
Puff
also
pastry,
a good washer.
You know what I'm saying? That's beautiful. I like that. That's a dessert cake like type strain.
I'm about to drop. We did a really interesting like follow-up analysis video on the pheno hunt for washers. And so we got a mini osprey and we did individual plant washes on I mean, what we focused on the video, we did a lot of different things, but in the video specifically, we focused on puff pastry and honey bear.
Okay.
And so we now have selected clones of our, highest producers, our highest terp yields, et cetera, et cetera. And for us, it's kind of finding the thing that's right in the middle, right?
Right.
And I guess if we have somebody who's like, I really want the highest producer, I don't give a fuck how it smells. Maybe you can have that clone. I don't know.
Okay, go back to Ohio.
Maybe if I have the time and energy, I'll dig it out for you. But long story short, now we have the one-on-one comparisons, and that's
dope.
That's how we're kind of moving forward with that.
I mean, so
concept.
At Profit, we run a lot of we run live resins and we ran some rosin lines too, but I'm really focused on the live resins and how they produce and stuff. And man, some of these right here, we actually have run your Hella Jelly. It was a cross of the Hella Jelly, and it was fuego. It was so good.
Terp wise,
it was
yield wise, probably not.
No, yield wise, it was horrible.
Yeah,
but terp wise, it was hitting on our pens. It was hitting in the 8 and 9%, which is like crazy high.
Yeah, and Hella Jelly is one that we consistently hear that for, and so. I mean, when I have people asking me about things to run for washers, I'm like, realistically, I can tell you what's going to dump, but I can also tell you what's going to fucking sell.
Right.
And we have people that come back and they run the Hella Jelly consistently.
You're
because
yo,
it
when you
does
taste
sell.
this, yeah.
But, the reality of us being able to adapt our lines a little bit and actually hunt for wash strains and at the end of the day, retrain our own approach.
Right.
Which is a crazy concept for people who have been doing this shit for me my entire life.
Right.
It creates a whole new world. Long story short, it creates potential for us to have Hella Jelly terps that are also dumpers. Right.
Right. No, for real.
That wasn't the priority before.
No, but that's sometimes where it's going. And I feel I'm going to say this. I'm going to date myself right now. I'm going to fuck you up right now. But in a party, right? Let's say we go to it. Hold on. Let me back up a little bit even further. I met you, I think, I want to say at Cali Vibes it wasn't even a cannabis situation.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Yeah, it was Cali Vibes. We were backstage
with Too Short.
Yeah. And I'm looking how is this Humboldt girl does she know Too Short? Does she know because the only people back there were people that were knew who the artist or somebody affiliated with the artist, and you were back there. I think I went up and introduced myself to you because just I wanted to come up and say hi, but you do hella events every year. How many events do you do a year?
I mean, our brand as a whole.
Yeah.
Our event.
Well, that and all the exclusive shit that you do that's cool as fuck too.
Our event outreach is pretty immaculate because we've developed an amazing team of what we essentially consider a franchise program.
Right.
So there's a lot of events that we have presences at that.
No, hold on, girl.
We're not
You're
necessarily
backstage
making it to.
in some exclusive situations.
Cali Vibes is a different story because we make a strain for Don Carlos as well as both Miles and Kyle from Slightly Stupid because they could not settle on one individual strain.
They need both of them. They throw both in the bag.
So, yeah, we have our Stupid Fruits and then our Kali Man Kush.
Nice.
And we've been boothing at a little
Shout
bit.
out to the Kali Man.
I think I want to say 4 years now. And it was a really niche crowd for us at first. But what was like really, I was referencing some of these like interactions earlier. It's like I had a Malibu mom come up to me this year and she was like, you sold me your seeds 2 years ago. And she's been using the same 2 seed packs for 2 years.
Holy shit.
She showed me pictures
Is
of
she
them
cloning and everything?
in Malibu by her fucking, no, she's just running them from seed and little planter.
Okay.
And she goes, I put these in like the things I put my little flowers in or whatever.
Her little chia
the
pets.
things that line, they're like the fancy flower pots that line her infinity pool.
Nice.
In Malibu.
Got some plants in
And
there.
it looks over the ocean.
Got some orange creamsicle in there.
She like comes up to me, like dripped the fuck down. And she's like, I want to show you this. You just told me seeds of you. And I'm like, this is such a different like demographic.
You never would have thought of that,
like,
right?
You know, it makes it so much more enjoyable also to be able to like bring that experience to somebody new.
For sure.
And to see that enjoyment for them, you know?
Again, I called you the face of like the triangle, right? And you kind of like balked on it a little bit, but for real, on some real shit, like you are absolutely an influencer on Instagram, right? And you represent like the triangle. You have a funny story. Like back in the day, you started a Facebook page for Humboldt Seed Company. And how come that got shut down?
It didn't get shut down necessarily. It got so, well, what, you know, if you really want me to get into the nitty gritty of it, is what happened is I have always been very defensive of my dad and his hard work.
Right.
And I have quite frankly seen numerous people come and take advantage of his kindness and his trust and his generosity.
Too many giving out seeds for free. His homie stuff.
Not exactly. We had a trimmer reference to us by a high school friend of his, and they took up interest in breeding.
I know how this story goes.
And eventually, you know, honestly, it was pretty fuzzy because I was so young at this point.
Right.
But, you know, one thing I do remember clear as fucking day is having to bring mails to this guy's house in Fieldbrook. And I was stuck in his house with his girlfriend and his barking dogs for like 30 minutes waiting for my dad. She was like trying to be like, you want to play the piano?
You're like, no.
And, you know, long story short, this guy ends up trying to tell my dad, hey, you need to move your seed company to Europe. That's where all the money's at. My dad's like, you know, first of all, at this point, he was managing the entire Salmon River Restoration Council, like annual salmon surveys, and a lot of the programs for their just general surveys. He was raising me. He was a music teacher at my school. He was writing the grants to get solar panels for my school at the time. He was working with the fucking local native groups to integrate them in with you know, I have to say my dad was a pivotal person in integrating the tribes with the nonprofits.
Nice.
And like actually making sure that, you know, everyone's needs are being met at the end of the day.
Right.
And, you know, he's always been a peacemaker in that sense. But at the time he was like, there's no fucking way I'm taking the brand that I purchased in Humboldt County named Humboldt and
pushing
just
it over
running
to Europe.
And, you know, either taking me or leaving me. And he was like, but I'll give you seeds. Like, you could do it over there. And the guy's like, how about I do Emerald Seed Company? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, do Emerald Seed Company. I like it. And, you know, he was like, they had done a collab project. And then he sent him with an additional bag of a bunch of his seeds at the time that were all regs. It's like, at this point, I'm like, fuck is that really worth? But it's the principle to me.
Sure.
Because a year or two goes by, and I find these guys online as Humboldt Seed Organization. And it wasn't just that. It was I found them online as Humboldt Seed Organization. And then if you went to the History of Humboldt page, it didn't necessarily like claim they partook in any of it. It was just like History of Humboldt.
Right.
But it
They somehow dangled themselves into that shit.
It referenced every pivotal activist movement my parents had been like essential figures in.
But without actually
and
giving
had
them
taken
credit for it.
serious risk to be in.
Right.
And they kind of, they basically just used it as like a history of Humboldt County. They didn't necessarily say we were a part of this.
Right. They just said this is the history.
But in a sense, they were also like, it was all framed as if the entire brand came from Humboldt County.
Right.
And so, at the time and at my age, it rubbed me the wrong way, like so badly. And
how old were you at that time?
I was 13. And I was like,
fuck this.
And
and
13 was
they ain't taking my dad's shit.
So 13 was the first year I was allowed to have my own Facebook.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
that's when they allow you to. That's right.
And and I was like, and that my mom was like, hey, you're legally allowed. I can't tell you no anymore, I guess. So
and this was before even
Instagram. Now that I'm thinking about it, like
way before Instagram.
But Instagram, I think, came like a year or two later.
Yeah, it's like 08, 09.
Yeah, so Facebook was like my thing. And so I find these guys on Facebook.
You were too young for MySpace, huh?
I get pissed. I had a MySpace for a brief minute.
MySpace music?
My stepsister like kind of got me on the MySpace thing, but it was a little bit like I was premature to the MySpace.
For sure.
Yeah, I was fading out.
So Facebook pops off. You're about to do this. You're like you're pissed now. You're like, F these motherfuckers, man.
So
fuck these motherfuckers.
But I don't have a PDF of our logo either on my mom's laptop. I'm like, a pickle. What am I going to do?
What you going to do? Make one?
I'm like, okay, good thing my dad's taught me how to draw a perfect fucking pot leaf from a young age,
7-leaf, baby.
and like good thing that I have this like amazing set of watercolors and I'm like in genius.
So you throw the water logo up.
A watercolor logo. My mom's email and phone number are associated with the Facebook page.
Straight up, Mom got this.
I didn't have my own email or phone number at the time. And I watercolored some other posts I did some other things. I made a bio. Like it was like a significant enough amount of things. And I think it was where our IP address was located. Honestly, that fucked us though, because I'm like, how were these guys running their pages in Europe and nobody was batting an eye? And I like this 13-year-old child makes this account. A literal like week or two went by. And my mom got like a random call. And it was some guy. He's like, I have a package intercepted that might be contaminated. It was like some weird thing that they were trying to get her to admit to shipping a package of something and giving her permission to open it. And they were like, because it might be contaminated and like and she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And they were like, it's shipped from Humboldt Seed Company or something. And then she was like, wait, what? And then she was like, can you just explain what you're talking about? How did you get my number?
Right.
And then finally it comes down to them being like, well, we found your number on this page
on
affiliated with Humboldt Seed Company. And so she goes and pulls up the page.
Good looking, Mark.
And this is as far as like, what she told me the encounter went down as, but she was like, she pulls the page up and she's on the phone and she's like, I mean, sir, this is clearly made by a child. She's like,
who was it? What did he identify himself as?
And she's like, there's a lot of typos, like, and so, I mean, she bossed up in that moment. And she was like, yeah, I mean, like, my teenage daughter probably saw it somewhere and was like, maybe I can make some money or like, get some following off of this random idea. She was like, like, if you're doing investigations in any of this, like,
you're wasting your time.
You should be vetting out the pages that are made by teenagers that don't know how to spell first and foremost.
You were like one of the early Instagram social media people.
Well, no.
Yes, you were. Girl, you better own that shit.
No, well,
you had watercolors on there and fucking Facebook.
That was Facebook. Instagram, the problem is so then Instagram rolled out like a year or so later, and I was like, Dad, we got to get on Instagram. And he's like,
fuck that.
He was like, are you kidding me?
He's like, girl, the DEA just called me when you opened a Facebook page.
I did more damage than good.
Right.
With my
You
own
literally
case.
had a watercolor up there and I had to fucking
But I
go.
did finally get him to make the Instagram. And like, granted, the following that he has built, a lot of that is built up just off of like, he dedicates a lot of his own time to making very educational posts.
If you're not on social media as a brand, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
If you can't learn how to if you can't learn how to use it and learn how to utilize it in your favor as a brand, you are done.
I think that's the thing with our page is like, honestly, like our shit could have flopped. Like we didn't really get super active on Instagram until like, we had a page and we were like here and there vaguely active. But until we were kind of like allowed to be out there, we weren't super vocal about it.
Right.
Like he wasn't posting videos with his face
Your pops
in
is
it.
from a different era though.
But
like we didn't post stuff. We didn't take pictures.
Yeah, but
we didn't do all that
also
stuff.
is just he doesn't shamelessly promote himself is the thing. And like that's what got
you almost have to do that now.
That's what got our Instagram popular though, was the lack of shameless promotion. And like
you have to not give a fuck.
Just pure not give a fuck, him being himself and like just being nerdy and educating people about the plant. And like, there's some people's heads that definitely goes straight the fuck over it. But then the people who were able to like see and acknowledge that, those are our lifelong customers.
Straight up. So President Trump just signed an executive order that like expedites the Schedule 3 situation. How do you see Schedule 3 working out for Humboldt Seed Company?
We've always figured it out.
Hell yeah. You're going to make a way, right?
Seeds travel pretty easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even under like the strictest laws, seeds are okay in most cases.
Hey, I mean, I go a lot of places that I don't even know how my own seeds got there. So.
Well, because they're good. That's why. That's why they got there, because they're fucking good.
So,
that's why.
At the end of the day, as much as it's nice being a direct outlet and having like the customer feedback and just being able to, because going through a secondhand person to do sales, there's always been that kind of concern for me of like not necessarily getting enough customer interaction or not getting to get the feedback that we necessarily need to like progress in certain ways.
Right.
So, that would be something that I'm concerned about losing out on. But at the end of the day, an outlet for our seeds? Fuck.
What's up? What's up?
It'll be there.
Where's your favorite place that you traveled? Favorite out of everything. You just got back from Thailand, right? How was that?
Thailand was amazing.
Was it exciting?
Mm-hmm.
What's the market look like over there?
I mean, compared to the first time I visited, which I want to say was 3 years ago, and then just going back this year, it's definitely progressed a lot.
Has it?
But, they've started to like import things too.
Bernard got the cookie store there now?
Yeah, he did. I didn't go this time. I went to the launch actually.
Did you?
But I didn't try any of the flour.
So step me through it. How is the flower grown in Thailand? How's it? How do they do it? What is the process? I have no idea about Thailand or their system or anything.
I mean, it's all over the place.
Is it really?
It's like any new and developing
emerging market coming up.
Emerging market, yeah. There's people who are trying to, invest and do mixed light. There's people who are doing indoor. There's people who are doing just full term outdoors.
Can they do outdoor out there?
Yeah, they can.
Humidity kind of high though, right? A little bit, maybe.
It depends on the area, I think.
If you're up in the mountains,
if you're in
or something.
Phuket, I probably wouldn't do full term. But
so, how long were you there? How long were you in Thailand?
This time, only like a little over 2 weeks. It was a very last minute trip. I booked it like a week beforehand.
What was your favorite night?
Favorite night?
Yep. Out of the 2 weeks.
The bar scene there, it's like if you go out anywhere, it's very different than going out in the States.
Hold on. What do you mean by that? Talk to me. I never been there, so I want to know. Like, what's it at?
Go to a ping pong show.
Ping pong show.
And let me know what you think.
What is that? What is a ping pong show?
You know what I was thinking afterwards?
Like playing ping pong?
No.
Or like throwing it? No?
No.
Hashtag ping pong show? I don't know. You know.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
I love that.
It's good for you.
Okay.
Honestly, save yourself.
No ping pong shows for the Luke Scarmazzo show. What are you most excited about coming up?
I mean, we have a few exciting things coming up for the year, breeding wise.
Yeah.
We have an extra special project coming up with somebody that, I think our whole team has always highly admired. So
nice.
That will be a fun one. And at the end of the day, this whole entire realm of having to reframe my brain to pheno hunt for washers, I feel like I have a whole new pile of work set out for me in that alone. So another challenge in itself there. I feel like at the end of the day, one of the things that I love about this industry that also drives me freaking crazy is that there's an endless amount of things to learn. And for me to be able to be a part of this, I have to say, as much as I complain about, some of the things that I miss from pre-legalization and the culture that I got to witness and experience from then, being a part of it now and getting to see the scientific funding and actual agricultural approaches being taken to cannabis breeding and just that development with the plant and seeing what directions we can take it in from there. Do
you think science ever takes over the true just human experience of judging what the plant is like?
Well, that's where I said it's until we have a genetic marker for dankness.
Which we don't. We do not.
Hit me with the dankness marker, and then yes, we will be able to.
We got to bring your
eliminate
pops
the
in
human
for
eye.
that.
But no, it's never going to be just scientific. It's a utility more so than it ever is going to be the answer.
Right. I agree with that.
But, what it can do for us is advance things a lot faster. There was a while where my dad was against doing feminized breeding.
Wow.
And,
he only wanted to use males.
Well, regular breeding was,
that was what it was.
Up until 5 years ago, people were shitting on femmes, to be honest. But there was a really long time that I think a lot of people were doing stress-induced femme breeding. And then also...
That's so unstable.
Well, and then also think about the factor of you take 10 plants, right? And you spray them with femme spray.
Right.
And two of them flip for you.
Right.
And then you use those as your pollinators.
Right.
Those were the two
that hermed
most likely candidates to herm out under stress.
Straight.
Right.
Yeah, not a good way to do it.
And so there was a significant phase in femme breeding where I think people were just so excited to do it and didn't necessarily
It was a new thing though, right? It was a new thing.
Right. But they didn't necessarily have the ratio down.
The knowledge.
And so, but that scared my dad off for sure. He was like, oh, I don't know. I've heard terrible things about femme breeding. It's all bad. And at the end of the day, once we started to delve into it
and dial it in, right?
The difference you can get in just leveling up your homozygosity in your lines when you're getting to see two female representations of flower versus trying to imagine what a male plant might look like as a female.
Right.
And then crossing that into something.
That sounds like some 2026 shit.
That in itself, it's been massive for us to be able to do selective breeding, to be able to pick two female plants and be cool, you're both gorgeous and ideal, and this is a good combo.
Right.
with the males, it was like we were like rubbing the stem and being like,
rubbing the stem.
Listen,
that was the way though. No, that was the way though. That was the way we used to do it. Man, that's crazy. You said rubbing the stem. You're real, girl.
We still rub the stem at the end of the day.
You have to.
When we're picking
like early too. You can rub it early and really get like a terpene profile. We're picking what
we're gonna kill when it's like planting time.
Don't hurt my heart, girl.
Well,
don't hurt my heart. I don't like when we talk. Even when we kill, we're good.
Giveaway pile. Okay, right, you know what I mean. Right. But if Metric's listening, we killed him. Yeah, but you know, like even then, it's like, what are we gonna keep?
I'm like a metric expert now. Just so you know, we just opened our new distro, and I had to learn metric like on like a crash course.
Oh
yeah. So like if y'all ever need me to do some metric for you, like, or if you haven't run into a metric problem, I'm like I'm kind of doing metric consulting classes now. If you ever
I could have so used that 4 years ago, honestly.
Right. It's kind of late in the game. I mean, I just got out, girl. Give me a break.
My first inspection was a surprise inspection, and we had not segregated our R&D seed from our metric seed.
They quarantine you?
I got like a significant amount of things embargoed and a potential $180,000 bill.
Ouch.
She made me cry.
Really, Pops was like, yo.
She was really mean. Well, I had to play dumb. I was like, what is my option here? You know, right. Like I was like,
you're like, my bad. I didn't move them into the other room.
Like, I can't tell her what's really happening. So I'm just going to have to play like the dumbest dumb blonde card I possibly can pull right now, which is like, she's like, where did this 2-pound bag of seeds come from? And I'm like, well, maybe somebody just accidentally put it in the van and I just forgot to put a tag on it. And so then I put it in the corner because I didn't know.
I didn't know where it goes.
Like, I was like, I don't know how I got there.
And did it work? Semi?
It took some finessing. Took some crawling around in the dark and
I love that's legacy shit, man.
Work,
that is legacy shit.
Hey,
how important is it to you?
I got my way out of it. And you know, what was crazy is she tried to embargo. So like our total was, oh God, I wish I could pull the list up, but I swear it was like between 5 and 8 pounds of seeds.
Oh my God.
In all different things though. And she wanted me to mix them all together, dump them all together into a tub, and then pour hydrogen peroxide on top of them in front of her.
Oh, she's crazy.
Otherwise, she was basically telling me and this is when she was like started to make me cry, is she was like, you are going to get fined. Like she was like, I can't see if you can't tell me the lot ID number for this specific seed. And I'm like, but you don't even understand how this works because
at all.
First of all, like that seed is no longer identified with a specific plant anymore. Anyways, but at the time I'm fresh to metric. And so I'm like, I can't tell you that.
You're like, let me give you a new package ID. Sorry.
And I'm like texting my dad and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I should just like not dump the hydrogen peroxide on the seeds.
Let me just say nothing. I'm going to run out of
Well, I was just like, I had to make a decision. Dump the hydrogen peroxide on the fucking millions, potentially like 2 millions worth of seeds, or maybe take 140 grand.
Eat the fine.
60 grand. But the thing is we didn't end up getting fined shit because
you shouldn't have. You shouldn't have in the first place. How important is it to you to like carry on the family legacy though? Really though, like, does that mean something to you? Do you want to do something different, or is this what Halle knows?
For me, it's not necessarily like the family legacy. I think for me, it's more so about normalizing and like creating accessible cannabis seeds, you know, like my dad developed the framework of Humboldt Seed Company off of territorial genetics, which like we buy all of our vegetable seeds from every year still to this day.
Nice.
And so for me growing up and like seeing the benefit cannabis caused for like people like everywhere around me compared to like numerous things that are, legalized. And my Uncle Jordan,
Alcohol.
Who I referenced earlier, he died from alcohol.
Right.
So seeing things like that, and then like having our customers come to me and being like, hey, like this strain specifically of yours changed my life.
Right. That's like life altering.
Like the legacy is one thing. The seeds are going to be out there forever. At the end of the day, like,
isn't that dope though?
At the end of the fucking day, like Humboldt Seed Company could disappear tomorrow, and like our seeds will still be.
Your legacy still lives on.
So
yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, I'm satisfied.
Sure.
Like,
no, for real though, that's dope though.
But yeah, I'm always happy to like continue to do our best to provide that. Really, it's just like, we don't like to play like hype games either.
Right.
As much as my dad could like pull some pheno hunt genetics and be like, this is the hypest cut on the market, 50 grand.
Right.
Let's go auction. He has always had the same vision for cannabis. And that's basically what I just said, which is, making it accessible to the everyday user that just wants to grow a couple plants in their backyard.
That's dope.
And have like access to
which is how we all
medicine,
started.
Non-pharmaceutical medicine, right?
Which is how we all started, man. And that's so dope, man. Well, Halle, man, thank you for coming on the show. Where can people tap in with you at?
Always on the Humboldt Seed Company account, which is the Humboldt Seed Company. And then HumboldtSeedCompany.com. Then my personal, obviously, which Instagram is just Halle Penn. But I mean, we're all over the place. I think our YouTube, like if you really want to get to know and deep dive on the company, that's the place where you have the most resources, because we put a lot of time and energy into content that I think a lot of people don't have the attention spans for these days. There's great stuff on there, though. There is some wonderful stuff on our YouTube. And
you guys have your own channel, Humboldt Seed Company
we
channel.
do, yeah.
Right. Tap in with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dope. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and you never told me which one you're going to grow, though.
Okay, listen. I mean, on some real stuff, because of the story, I would say like the honey bear would be one I would want to run in our pens.
Okay.
For real. And so like I definitely see like a profit honey bear, like Humboldt Seed Company coming soon.
I'm in.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Thank you for tapping into Joint Forces. You can catch us next time. Here we go.